Hi guys, I've just made a video and in that video I explained to you that even though it's now the 22nd of November and the ArcoLinux ISO does not work, so you can't install ArcoLinux with the official Arch ISO unless you do not select any sound. I thought, how is it going along, right? Are there any improvements in the development? And I figured out a way to create my own ISO, my own ArcoLinux ISO with a script from github.com/arcolinux/arch-install. So I'm gonna show you the future Arch install. So it's let's see if I have the right one, the desktop, right? So this is a strange date, right? ArcoLinux only releases the beginning of the month, so we build it ourselves. We can do it with AAG, and this time I've done it with Arch install because I want the very last code from the developers, Arch install. Okay, so let's boot up. I need to go in the boot manager in CD-ROM, and that's the default, right? If you burn this ISO on USB, then you boot up with F8, F2, whatever keyboard shortcut there is. Tell them here's the USB, and then off we go. So this thing I've reported already to the developers online on GitHub. This works, right? So please release something new because this actually works. So this looks quite different, and that's because it is built with a script coming from Arch install. It's there to test Arch install. Okay, so it looks different, but in the end result we got an ArcoLinux. We have to wait always a little bit. That's a normal procedure. And why is that? Because at this point in time it's working quite hard, but we don't know, right? We don't see it, and it's actually pacman that we're waiting for this guy. This needs to be active and enabled. Without this finalized, you probably, well, no, you can't install it, right? You get issues with pacman. That's the pacman initialization service. This is not good for me, right? So I'm gonna go for load keys BE let one, voila, me happy, and Arch install. And that's the difference between the ArcoLinux ISO or the ISO we created with AAG. It always is the official package, right? It's the package that is released, that's on the repo of ArcoLinux. This isn't. This is code straight from Arch install GitHub. So that's one thing. I'm gonna add advanced to it, so you see that as well as an option, that is a possibility. And then you can set also the parallel downloads. So English is always my advice, guys. Use English and learn the technical terms. Keyboard layout, I need to have a /BE for BE Latin. The rest is good for me. Back. And then we need to go down. It just doesn't jump to the next one that you should fill in. You have to tell it yourself. Arrow down, mirrors, mirror region. But as you see, it looks different, right? This is version 3, and version 3 has a left menu, so to speak, and a right explanation kind of thing. So this configuration, partitioning, use best effort, and just keep pressing X4, and you see the overview. That's what we're gonna do. Are you okay? Sure. Back. So disk encryption, we need to manually go down. I don't want swap. Doesn't make sense in a virtual machine. Bootloader, system deboot, grub, etc. Right? System deboot is good for me. Host name, ArcoLinux, why not? Right? Doesn't matter. It's a virtual machine. And then we go for root password, user account. This is all very similar, but it's a little bit different in design, right? That's the main thing. We have a left and a right and all that. And here sometimes, well, here you find some information, which is cool, right? So if you click these things, it is really magic, right? 2 names and you got a complete desktop, Mate. So we see here what is actually installed if we select these things. That's interesting to learn, right? How do I get to install Qtile with this? With that, Sway XFCE is my choice. And then we go back. Graphics driver. So that's the next one. All open sources. Or this one, that one, that one. That might be interesting to see. That's the kind of packages I need to have a working system later on, right? So these are all options. For me, this one is good because you see XF86 video VMware is in there. So that's the one I need for VirtualBox or anything virtual. Greeter is light GTK greeter, but I can do other things. All right. Escape, it stays like that. Back. Audio, that was the issue. It's no longer an issue. Let's do PipeWire. I've done already in a previous video, tested it out, or previous installation anyway. So now Pulse Audio as default. Kernels, you can test or change kernels or add kernels. Network configuration, network manager, and here's the extra. So if you type advanced, you get this possibility to say I want to have 21 downloads parallel. All the rest, right, choices. This is important for me, Brussels. And for the rest, that's enabled. And let's go. So this is basically a bypass. This is a test with the current code, and the current code, that's the date of today, 22 November 2024, the code that's on the GitHub of ArcoLinux/archinstall is being used. And I've already reported to them, okay, this seems to work, right? So release a new version as I did not encounter any issues. But of course, there are many variables and many things can go wrong, choices that you make. But that's for other people then to report, right? If everything works fine, great. Otherwise, take a few minutes time to report what's going on and tell them so they can improve it. I see the FS trim timer is there, BE Latin is going to be there. There are a few errors in there I see, but okay. That was sound. As you see, 21 downloads is super fast and super fun. LightDM is being installed. That's it, right? I'll check the video later on. This is how fast it is to install an operating system, basically. Reboot. If everything works, right? As usual. So those are the choices. First one is the one I need. That's LightDM. All about choices. And here we are. So yes, you can actually install sudo pacman -syyU neofetch. There you go. This concludes the video. The next video will be how do I change this ArcoLinux basic installation to what I want, to an ArcoLinux installation, because this is playing with Lego blocks. I've chosen to install a few things, systemd, XFCE, stuff like that, X4, ButterFS, you make your choices. And now it's up to anybody, any user, to make this nice, right? Icons, wallpapers, I don't know, anything, configs, all kind of things. That's what we'll do in the next video. We'll create an ArcoLinux from this ArcoLinux. Cheers for now.